Hi, everybody. It's Daisy Plarda. This is my discussion two post. So, opening statements in a criminal trial hold the purpose of outlining the entire case to the jury. Um, the whole intent behind them, is so the prosecution team and the defense team can state, facts from the case, dates, times, who, what, where, when, how, what's going on, you know what I mean, and provide details so the jury can make an effective decision. It's more to introduce the case. However, since people have a natural tendency to jump to conclusions, that's why the opening statement is so important. And that's why it really, you want to do it right. The order of opening statements: the prosecution team goes first, and then it's the defense team. It's hard to say whether this is fair or not because, like I said, people jump to initial conclusions. So, someone could argue that because the prosecution team is first, that everyone will jump to a guilty verdict first. I just think it depends on what's said. I think, you have to trust that, people are going to listen to both sides, especially in those opening statements. But you really never know. For one case, it might matter that the prosecution was first, and then in another case, it might not matter. You never know with the different individuals that are involved. You're never going to know. And that's why, since it's so subjective, it's so hard to determine whether that's fair or not. Provide an opinion on the significance of opening statements. Are jury trials won or lost at the stage of the proceeding, and why? Like I said, they do say that human nature, people jump to initial conclusions. So it's safe to say, prepare for that. Prepare for that and have an opening statement that is going to cover everything you need it to cover. I don't see it smart knowing that information to have a empty opening statement. I really don't. So you should prepare for the worst. Prepare for, that opening statement to be that win or lose. Creating improvements to the current system of opening statements to ensure that the truth is ascertained through the trial process. I think the way that it's set up is pretty good. I mean, you have the opportunity to give facts on the case, and say what you need to say. I don't think much change will do anything to it personally. Like I said, it's so subjective. There's so many factors that go into it. It's really hard to have a one set way to do it. The best thing that you can do is just prepare for the worst case scenario and be prepared as possible. Make a good first impression. First impressions mean everything. They always do. And just do your best. Give that information. Try to think of everything. Try to think of every angle. Just because you have such different personalities in front of you that you don't know what details are going to be looking for, what details are going to care about and not care about. So you might as well just provide more information, because the more information never hurt anybody. Examine the notion of latitude given to attorneys from judges to argue their cases in opening statements. You're walking a fine line, I feel like, because each side has to be equally represented. So, the judge is going to be, one type of way. You're just going to have to follow that and go through it. I think it's fair how it is. I mean, they are equally represented, and you know what I mean? It's all reliant on how much effort and how prepared you are. It really, I feel like it lies upon you. So I think that the notion of latitude given from the judge is fine. It's all dependent on the judge, though. And I feel like a lot of people, just personally that I've spoken to, don't really acknowledge the fact that judges are different too. And so, like I said, it's really subjective, and it's all about how prepared you are. Know the people that you're working with, and if you don't, then more information never hurt anybody. Should such actions be allowed? Why or why not? I think it's fine how it is. I don't know how much more to say. It is so subjective. It's so subjective. The only thing that you can do is to be prepared. I do think, being equally represented is very important. And there's not much left to say about that. I mean, I do think that in that opening statement that you shouldn't be restricted to a certain point. Like, I think that you should stay with the facts, and paint the picture that you need to paint for the people to understand the full scope of the situation. They need to understand every element possible. And the only person that can restrict them, them being the jury, is, the prosecution team and the defense team. It's their job to lay out all the facts of the case, take that opportunity and seize it. I think that the opening statements should stay the way they are, because as human nature is, as people jump to initial conclusions, it's important to lay out and take opportunity of that moment. So I think it should be left the way it is, personally. That's everything that they asked us to cover. So if you guys have more questions, though, about how I feel, I know it's really hard to take a standpoint in this because of how subjective it is. Everybody is different, and you're dealing with, different people and convincing them of guilty or not guilty. And I understand that that is not an easy task. And I understand that there's a lot of elements that go into that. And I'm just one of those people that always keeps an open mind. Hope for the best, but expect the worst. It's all about how prepared you are. So be prepared and go through everything. Keep an open mind. Always keep an open mind, and know who you're working with. If you don't understand that judge and the limitations that judge is going to give you, then ask the question, find out the information, find out whatever it is that you need to know in order to properly present a case to the jury. And that's all I have. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have questions below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching.